We go. Three, two, one. This is gonna be the most impromptu recording ever, but welcome to the ThinkShack.
Welcome to the homeless shack today because we're not in my place. We visited a friend.
Yeah.
He was gracious enough to extend, a nice quiet room for us to do the recording today.
When you say room, it sounds like it's just a single room, but it's actually a pretty nice place to have a studio.
It's
And
yeah, it's awesome.
it's only that we weren't ready. But anyways, this is Jean. This is Ramsey. We have no drink shack today.
Unfortunately, like it's been such a disorganized day for us because coming to this place we were supposed to meet too, and me and my late ass got late, so I forgot to buy drinks. Jean has like a whole date to go to after this, so we
Yeah.
in the middle we kind of forgot about the drinks that we were gonna do.
I mean, the
for the Think
podcast the
Shack.
podcast isn't gonna make babies, so we still have to go out there and socialize.
So we can earn the right to reproduce. As a man, you gotta keep
I
doing
mean,
shit.
Think Shack is probably gonna be left to our kids when they turn 18, right?
Right, exactly. So
Or depending on your jurisdiction, maybe 16 or 24, who knows?
yeah.
So we got some interesting topics today.
Yeah, Trevor was kind enough to give us some really interesting topics. The first one is about
Conspiracy theories confirmed over the past 6 months.
I think that's like a really serious topic. I want us to start on a lighter note. And I think a really funny one is about the guy that did the vasectomy.
Oh, okay, how about we go off script since we're doing that today, Mr. Ramsey? We're going off script a lot. Have you heard about this story of the Uber drivers, I guess, having sex or being very promiscuous in Nairobi?
Uber drivers being promiscuous.
Apparently. I mean, this is just going to be hearsay, and you can comment and tell us the actual story. You can see how what's the word? Clued up you are.
Yeah,
But
sure. Guys can
apparently-
say in the comment section their craziest
Apparently,
Uber
some
stories.
of you guys, and I bet you one of our followers is actually one of those people who do these things.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's people who get into the Uber, whether they're drunk or not, it is unknown. But they will get into the Uber and then they will request the driver to perform some sexual favors for them for a tip.
Is the
You seem
tip
shocked.
part of the sexual favor? It's just like I'm thinking about this in the least charitable way. It's like,
In the least charitable way.
do you want a tip of my dick? Could you perform a sexual favor?
I mean, just the tip, right?
Exactly. But anyway, okay. So I'm supposing these are. Is there like a gender imbalance? Is it like mostly women asking for these favors or men?
Well, I think it must be. I mean, there's both genders.
Both genders.
Yeah, at first when I heard the story, I was like, okay, so does that mean? Because I heard, did you know Uber drivers are very promiscuous? I was like, okay, what does that mean? They've been
Yeah.
having sex with clients. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to stop requesting at night because I might just end up with Vaseline all
Yeah.
over me, and I don't want to end up in Kariobangi covered in Vaseline. I mean, anywhere else.
This reminds me
Karen
of the
makes
thing
sense.
of the meme I saw earlier today that I ended up posting on our stories. Like, so this guy starts the story. It's like, so he went to some club last week on Thicker Road, and then he found this really nice girl, and she had like dance moves for days, right?
Of course.
So
She's
he
from Thika.
yeah, yeah. As opposed to like if she was from Thina, which would be something else. Anyways, I would say.
From Thindigua.
Pindigua. So like I was trying to say, so like he brings over to the table, buys a red label worth like 4,500. I don't know why part of my head is like that's fake shit.
That's a
'Cause,
fake
like,
shit.
what red label?
label at a club worth 4,500.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't
But
it sold at like 4,500 outside, like just at a regular wines and spirits?
yeah, so he buys a red label.
That was some brown label right there.
Some shit label.
shit label.
So like after like they have like lots of good vibes and shit. So they went to the washrooms because ingia ni kulipe.
Well, nani ndio anaingia? You should tell us. Like, is it the
Then
driver?
ingia wapi bana?
Unaingia
Tell
ndani ya
us.
Uber ama driver anaingia ndani yako?
So after all of that, they go to the washrooms because the guy can't even wait to take the girl to his place. And then they get to the washrooms and they're fondling each other. He puts his hand in her crotch and he finds probably the biggest balls
Yeah.
he's ever held.
He
in
finds
his
the
life.
mystery balls.
He finds the fucking jingle bells.
The mystery balls.
Yeah,
There's this show
exactly.
used to come on KBC. It was called Money or the Box.
Money or the Box.
Money or the Balls.
Money or the box is like deal or no deal.
Shit, it wasn't Money or the Box. Money or the Box was a segment. It was called Omo Pick a Box. Omo was a
Yeah, because deal or no deal is when there's a segment in deal or no deal. They're like money or the box, and if you choose the box, you could get anything from like a rock to like $1 billion or something. I don't know, whatever the grand
I
prize
specifically remember someone clinging onto the box and then they walked home with a mwiko. They could have gone on with like 25,000, which back then was like, I don't know, a million shillings.
25,000 pounds, actually.
No, okay, I'm talking about the Kenyan
Or this
one.
is Omo Picker
Yeah, because
box.
what is a mwiko in English or what? A ladle, wooden ladle.
It's a ladle, wooden stick. I don't know, something like that. Ingeni kulipa. Oh, I get it now, Bernard. So like when an Uber driver takes a lady home and she's like, just come into my house, I'll pay you.
Okay.
I'll use my rose cocoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where did that meme come from?
I
mean,
think
this
it came
is,
from a type of seed, like it's a type
no,
of bean seed
it's a
called
type
rose
of,
cocoa.
yeah, but when did it start? Like, the vagina looks nothing like a bean. Or is it the ass?
Probably the vagina. It does look in a way. Like, have you ever heard the phrase "flick
your
the
bean"
bean"?
or the
Yeah,
clit?
I mean, low key, it does look like a clitoris.
The Bill Clinton?
The Bill Clinton. The Bill Clinton.
Well, I don't know
Let me
about
flick
the
your
rose
Bill
cocoa. Okay, so
Clinton.
the rose cocoa must be the clit. It's not the whole volume.
Exactly.
I mean, we could get into the specifics,
But
but
just if I may finish the story for a quick minute. So this
finish
guy
in
found,
the story.
well, he didn't, but someone finished inside him, and
wow.
that's the moral of the story. Because like he got fucked in the washrooms by what I
Wait.
assume was a
He
she-male.
was so committed that he went for it?
I don't understand that part of the story because he was like vile tulifika washrooms nikaingiza mkono hapo chini siku believe nikashika mjules imesimama ni magagare inatoshana na mpira ya handball. Wait, how big were those balls?
But you know what
Anyway,
I realized? Well, I
and
don't
then
know,
it's
I don't
like
know
from
if I
then
should
my life
realize.
has changed. Sijai tembea ama kuketi vizuri. I've been
My
traumatized.
whole
Telling me
life
nisikule food
has
ngumu.
changed.
So of course the implication is that
He can't shit.
he got
I
fucked
mean,
in the ass.
But wait, what does it
Exactly.
mean? Like, any type of food would get out still, either way.
Any type of food.
Because it said, "Nisikule food ngumu," that's the implication that they can't pass stool, right?
Yeah. Actually, that makes sense because I
mean,
imagine
it's-
if you had constipation is when you wouldn't want to eat like.
So you went
really
in
hard
the
food.
washroom, tight end, and
If
came out a
anything,
wide receiver.
you can't have constipation if you've got a loose ass. Like
Exactly.
constipation is a solved problem for the
Constipation
rest
is a
of your
problem
life.
of the past.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, now you never have to suffer from constipation. So like anyway, so with these Uber drivers, you said that like the customers go in, ask for sexual favors, and then pay the Uber driver to perform these sexual favors.
Exactly.
And because most Uber drivers are men, and I would like to hope and pray that most men in Nairobi are not gay, which might be wrong. I'm
Why
guessing
would you
it's
hope
the
and
women.
pray though?
Because that would be like for me, it's just a scary
There's a
world
lot
to
of
live in.
there's a lot of closeted people out
I'm
there.
okay with like gay people being a minority.
Yes, Bernard. There's a lot of transgenders in Kenya. Like, have you ever heard of Metro Transit Transport Center?
Metro Trans. Anyway, let's
Misako.
now use that to properly segue into that topic. So this is what
I mean,
happened.
since I mentioned Metro Trans,
Yeah, exactly. So this is what happened, right? Recently, and this was in Metro Trans. So like recently, a 17-year-old boy decides to board a bus, and the next bus he gets into is the Embasava Sacco, right? You know this one. It goes to Embakasi, Nyayo Estate, all of that. It's the Jogo Mombasa Road route.
Masava is ratchet as hell.
Yeah, so the conductor asks for money, and the boy is short of 20 shillings. So what does the conductor do? He throws the boy out of the vehicle while the vehicle is moving, and the boy dies. And then angry residents torch the bus.
Typical
So
Nairobi story.
why do conductors feel the need to push people out of the
I think it's
the
more
bus?
of a percentage thing. Like, for you, it's only 20 bob. What do you buy with 20 bob nowadays, honestly? But for them, it's like, that's the entire fare. I've taken you, you're taking me for granted. And who's to say? I mean, I'm not trying to play victim blame or anything
Right.
like that, but you don't know what the boy did. I'm kind of channeling Dave Chappelle. It was like,
Right.
oh, Michael Jackson molested a bunch of kids. Well, what were they wearing at that time? Well, I
Were
don't
the
know.
boys wearing? Let's victim blame for a minute. Were
No,
the
I
boys
mean,
wearing suggestive
Because
shit?
everybody has been in a matatu where you don't have fare. And some people get in with so much audacity, they'll be like, I don't have, I'm not giving you. And then they always just get like, yeah, just get out, get
I
out.
have a crazy matatu story, right? So like this one time, I personally think like you may have a bit of a point, but the crazy bit here is that I don't care what amount of audacity this guy had. Like that was a bit going a bit too far. It's like, you know, killing a mosquito with a sledgehammer. Like you didn't have to push him out. Maybe
Unfortunately.
shake him around a bit while in the bus.
I mean,
tie him up. I don't know.
The money will fall out of his ass.
What the money? Yeah, exactly. Like, why the hell did you have to kill the poor kid?
I don't think it was intentional, to be honest. I think they were struggling with the kid and then the driver. You know, some of these matatus get really loud. Because I've heard a story like that happen on the Mlolongo line. I don't know if people watching this or listening to this
Right.
international will understand what that is.
Right.
But a matatu is like
Mlolongo line. So Mlolongo is like
a
country
town called.
neighboring Kenya
Well, no, it's
that
not
is
country.
supposedly in Nairobi. I'm shitting because it's like
Technically, yeah.
like Rongai. It's like a whole other
Apparently,
place.
Mlolongo has the highest amount of prostitution in Kenya. Like, I mean, of
No, that
course.
makes sense though because Mlolongo is near Athi River, and these are like truck drivers coming from Mombasa tend to stop there a lot, and so there's a lot of money. Prostitutes would huddle around there. Any major truck stop on the Nairobi Mombasa highway is going to have a lot of prostitutes naturally.
We should go and explore that place just to get some
Yeah.
content from there.
No, we definitely need a prostitute on the podcast so that we can like interview them and just get to know their life. No, I'm serious. Like, have you ever sat with a prostitute and talked to her? Like, these people have some of the most interesting stories, the most interesting personalities. We had this conversation in the recording last week about like how people you least expect to have some of the best professionalism tend to have professionalism. You know, like your weed plug.
Like drug dealers,
One of the
for
most
example.
professional guys you know. He says
Professional,
please and thank you and
courteous.
sorry and madam.
They're gentlemen, fine gentlemen.
Exactly.
So Bernard is saying he nearly pushed the conductor when he tried this shit with me, and then wanakuanga wajinga sana. It's true. I mean, I would love to have a conductor here. Tell us what goes through your mind. Is it the jabba that makes them feel like they're out of time? They have to push the guy out.
You know something else that makes me feel like the conductors are usually out of pocket. And by the way, guys, if you have friends who can join us on the live, please call them over. We'd love for this to be like a whole. This is like our first live recording, except we're not in a stadium.
You guys
or
are
anything.
taking our virginity when it comes to live.
Like,
how
go
does it
easy
feel?
on us. Oh my God!
How does it feel?
I've never
Yeah.
done this before.
Be nice or be rude.
Here's
I
a
don't know.
condom.
Maybe we might like it rough afterwards. Who knows?
Imagine the amount of desperation you have to be in when someone
I
is
imagine-
raping you, and the only thing you can be is like, okay, fine, I give it. Just use a condom, please. Like, just
Actually, you
imagine.
know what?
It's like,
That's
wow.
actually a tactic that's been used by some rape survivors. Like
Right.
they told the potential rapist, like, hey, you know what? You don't have to do it so rough. I'll actually lie down for you to use a condom. And
Yeah.
the guy had so much remorse. He's like, oh shit, why am I doing this again?
Yeah.
Because I imagine it's a bit of a fetish. It's a power play between the abuser and the person they're trying to abuse. Like if they don't consent to it.
I've heard of that theory, and I've heard of some other theories claiming to debunk it. But let's entertain it for a moment. So there's this quote by Oscar Wilde. Is like everything is about money except sex. Sex is about power.
Is it though?
You just said it's about a power play between the
I mean-
abuser and the abused. Like when you are raping, it's a power play. You want to dominate.
Well,
or
that's
something.
rape. That's not sex.
Well, we're talking about rape, aren't
Okay,
we?
cool. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find a relevant quote that kind of, that kind of might like relate to this. Yeah, but I love Bernard Mwangi's
Yeah,
participation.
but this guy has to be on the podcast at some point.
So anyway, back to the sex workers thing. So like there are a lot on major.
And
truck
shout out
stops.
to God, it went down. Can you scroll down? Oh yeah,
You guys
Gishui.
are still
Gishui
re-listen to
Phil.
the Kanyagi skit. Yeah, the Kanyagi skit was actually that was accidental brilliance.
But
We
then you
didn't
should tell
expect
us,
that to blow
how
up.
many of you guys drink cognac? Because apparently every time we do a cognac video, it blows up. It's like people are drinking cognac by the
Konyagi
by
is
the liters.
yeah, it's
I don't even
it's
know.
like the national drink at this point. We really should do a Konyagi fest. One day when we're rich, we should organize a Konyagi fest.
should
Get
change the
Konyagi to
national anthem
sponsor
to
us and just do like a
feature
whole
Konyagi.
concert and whatnot.
You guys, thank you because we're actually gonna get past the cognac has like how many followers? I think it's like 2,000 on on IG. We probably passed them already.
Yeah, they really should make us their brand ambassadors. So anyway, back to conductors. So like I was saying, one of the reasons why I think it's the conductors who are usually out of pocket is this. 20 shillings from one customer. Considering this conductor, most of the time they're carrying 14 to 28 or whatever, 32 passengers, right? So they're getting a lot of money from each of these, and they're doing several trips a day. And if you think about the customers who forget their change, the money these guys are stealing from the owner, low-key, 20 shillings is inconsequential to a bus conductor,
Is it
especially
though?
on
Oh,
a
yeah.
very busy route. This guy makes a shit ton more money. So why is he making such a big
But when
deal
we're talking
out of
about
it?
the economics of matatus, you have to realize that the matatu has an owner. There used to be a show called Matwanas, which would go into like the different matatu cycles and look at the owners
Right.
of these matatus. And then I've heard from stories of people who know the actual matatu owners that these cars can like bring in some up to like 300,000 a month. But then the driver, the owner of the matatu will obviously take the lion's share, and then the conductor and the driver are on a fixed salary. That's what I understand. If someone knows more
Right.
about the economics of matatus, you could probably tell us.
No, but I've also heard similar news. Like I have a friend whose father used to own a matatu, and he told me that it's actually the other way around. If you are a matatu owner and you're not running your matatu, like you're not there most of the time, it's the driver and the conductor, and they're supposed to remit some amount at the end of the day, right? These guys steal a shit ton of money. They'll be like, hey, we got arrested by the police. We gave out some bribes. Hey, we didn't carry as many customers today. We didn't do as many trips as we wanted. And all manner of excuses. So you find that a lot of money gets stolen from you. And also the police, legitimate police cases of the matatu being seized and bribes having to be paid. So you don't make as much money as a matatu owner as all the other people that are working on your matatu.
But just to bring this back home, why is it always Embasava? Embasava is the one that led to the My Dress, My Choice movement, right?
There is now that's the
Embasava
interesting.
is embarrassing. Maybe
That's
it
the
has,
interesting thing because there's the similar case that happened in Embasava, right? So what happened? Actually, this was Meru Luxury Shuttle, and I don't know.
luxury. Oh God.
Yeah, clearly there was nothing luxurious about what happened in that particular shuttle.
Even the
So,
picture I have doesn't look luxurious at all.
yeah, so the staff of the Meru Luxury Shuttle stripped naked a deaf and dumb lady. I'm like, this is the worst case of bullying ever. Like, not only
did you strip a lady,
but she
who's a
couldn't even
minority. She's
hear or
already a
speak.
minority. And now she's deaf. The only thing you could do worse is do it for
Yeah.
gay or transgender.
So allegedly for lacking bus fare. And this is where like I'm gonna question you, Jean. You're like, okay, but what did the victim do? What the fuck is a deaf and dumb lady gonna do that is going to provoke a matatu conductor that badly? That he's like, I'm gonna strip you, bitch.
But what's the whole culture of stripping people naked? Like, will that get you like the extra 20 bob you're looking for?
That is one of the most backward things I think I know about Kenya. It's where, like, for some weird reason, people feel the urge to strip women that aren't dressed the way they want them to dress. Like, that's one of the most weird things. Like, yo, bro, like, this is like a sexual version of mob justice. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like,
The people
wore a
doing it are
miniskirt.
worse criminals than the actual the crime they're committing. Like the whole thing that happened at Forest Drive. I was gonna say Forest Hills Drive, but that's a J. Cole album.
Forest Hill Drive?
Yeah, the Forest Road or something.
Forest Road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that shit was crazy,
it's
like-
Niangara, I believe.
That lady must have been traumatized though.
Are you talking about the one who hit a bike guy?
Yeah,
or
she had a
something?
bike guy,
The
and then
one who
everyone was
worked
like,
as a
"Yeah, I'm gonna
diplomat?
touch your pussy too." Like, what kind of punishment is that?
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
scared out of her mind.
Exactly. While we're on this topic, because you're like, why is it always
Shit.
Embasava? What I'd like to point out is that, there's been a lot of talk about like Super Metro taking over so many routes, and people either praise Super Metro or they're doing like protests against Super Metro taking over. But then Super Metro is trailblazing in terms of how much organization a SACCO can have. Right?
I'd like to
because you don't
understand-
hear about these cases on Super Metro.
I'd like to understand what Joanne or Joan means by. I think people just have a way of overhyping situations.
Like how maybe you could emphasize a bit, or did they overhype the stripping? It's like no, it wasn't that bad.
I mean, it's like a
I only
whole.
stripped her a little.
Yeah. But
It
how
was
can
just
you
a
strip,
bra.
how can you strip someone a little? It has to be a lot. You have to go all the way.
Yeah. A strip is a strip.
I would love to.
A stripper is a stripper.
You know,
a strip is a strip.
This might sound a bit weird, but I'd like to meet with some of these people who engage in mob justice. Like, what goes through your mind? I would like to just sit down with them and have like a Socratic conversation.
There's
and,
something animalistic about it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
What I mean by something animalistic is that you're like mobs or crowds.
It's like the gladiator
individual people are quite rational, quite intelligent. But the minute you get into a crowd, it works you up into a frenzy and you stop thinking with your proper head. It now becomes about rage and outrage. You even see this happening online
Yeah.
because we have like a digital version of mob justice.
Okay,
like
with Kenyans on Twitter.
yeah, exactly. Like or cancel culture. It's like people really love the whole groupthink thing where they want to be part of the group and feel like they belong. And if the group is busy beating the shit out of someone, then that's what they're gonna do to feel like they belong and like they helped.
I
the
feel
country
like
somehow.
humanity or like
Or stripping someone,
The act of being the state of being humane is always hanging by a thread.
Right.
Because everybody could just turn into a monkey at any given time as long as the mob is conducive.
Exactly, that's the thing. And if you're a huge fan of DC Comics and like Batman, right? There's a place where the Joker. This is in like the Batman. Is it Batman Returns or Batman Begins, the one where the Heath Ledger Joker
When did
stuff.
Batman go though? It's always like the Batman Returns.
There's
The
like so many
Batman.
versions of the movie. I'm trying to find the specific one where Heath Ledger was, and he says that everybody is mad. They just need everybody has a little crazy, just need a little push like gravity, and it's they're gonna descend into
So
madness.
Joanne says there is a recent situation where two guys decided to fight over 20 shillings, and one guy ended up stabbing the other, and while running, the mob killed him. So that is such an unfortunate situation. When you're looking at
I've heard
thousand
of this
ways
story,
to die,
right? Yeah.
I've heard different versions of it because it happens more than once. There's one that happened in Gara. There's one that happened in
There's
like.
one that happened recently in Kisii, and that's the one she's talking about.
Wow,
Like,
like Kisi is a different case though.
No, but that doesn't mean like it's acceptable just
I
because
was gonna say
Kisii
something
is
wild, but
crazy
then I was
land.
like, no, probably someone will end up nuking Kisi, and I would be too against it.
No, Kisii is a unique place. I agree, but like this is still like a weird thing. It's like, why would you kill your brother over 20 shillings? But yeah, Bernard has a good point. Like, low-paying jobs tend to bring out aggression. I think
Is it though?
part of it isn't
Is it
really
though?
it's not so much about the low-paying job as it is about the need to release steam from all the stresses. Like, whether you have a high-paying job or a
Yeah.
low-paying job, if you've got a lot of stress and you need someone to release steam, it's almost like going to a gladiatorial match, except now the mob is killing the gladiator for some
Because
good
I
reason.
imagine, I mean, I've heard, and I've heard accounts of people who are not even involved in the incident. Like someone gets their phone stolen, and then they're just walking by and they see the thief getting beaten or whatever, and then they
And
decide
then
to throw in a kick.
I've seen this, but you know, like a lady walking by with an umbrella, and then she hits the guy on the head with the umbrella and walks away. It leaves the mob to continue. She's like, huh, I'm just gonna make my small contribution, you know,
Yeah.
like, to this mob.
But here's the
justice
crazy thing:
going
you
on.
don't know what the circumstances are. Because there's a funny situation. I've actually been a victim of mob justice, but I'm alive though, so I guess there wasn't.
What the fuck happened?
So I got my phone stolen. I think I was about 17 or something like that. I had a kabambe or something like that. I was working in town. And
Right.
then groups surrounded me. I thought it was people I knew. Oh, I thought one of them was someone I knew. So they were walking and they're saying hi, hi, hi. And then I end up,
That's
I end
how
up-
it starts.
That's how it
so
starts.
funny.
And then we're walking the same
Thieves
direction.
are usually so courteous.
They're
They
so
always
courteous.
say. I've seen this video where
But I'll
like
get to
the
it.
thief is like, "Hey, nyaje,
No, let me get to it.
ukona chain post unipe," and then the guy laughs, and then the thief starts like hitting him in the head. It's like unafikiria nacheka. You know?
But let me actually explain to you why it starts out like that.
Right.
So what happened is we're walking. This whole time it happened. This happens when we're walking in the same direction, right? And this is like broad daylight. It's not even mid. It's not even.
Where did this happen?
It was on along Haile Selassie, right?
Haile Selassie.
So before I know it, I'm like, why is it
and
getting
it's
dark?
in broad daylight.
Yeah, man. I'm like, why is it getting dark? Then I look around. I'm like, okay, I can't see the person behind me. I'm like, okay, fuck, these people are together.
Right.
So before I know it, I'm like, at that time I kind of knew a few people. So I was like, let me call some of my boys. They can probably help me out. They might be around the corner. So I pick up my kabambe, and then the phone is snatched away. The guy shouts, "Achana Mimi, like leave me alone." I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? And then I get punched in the face. I'm like, it's so much confusion happening. It's confusion of the highest order.
Oh,
I
they
know-
were staging something. Like, it's like you had stolen something.
And the thing is, we're walking in the same. We're walking along the flow of traffic, so nobody behind us can see what's happening. It's just a group. It's like a cloud behind them.
yeah, it's pretty clever.
It's pretty clever, and it was very, very well planned. So I'm getting punched from left, right, and center. I don't know how I didn't fall on the ground that day because I think I would have been kicked to death or something.
Yeah, you're strong. They
So,
wanted to like,
They wanted to steal my phone, yeah,
to
but they
take-
never got it. I held onto my kabambe.
Right. So how did you get out of it though?
No, I
Because-
mean because we're walking. Eventually, everyone has to maintain the act that the traffic has to keep flowing, basically. So I got like a barrage of kicks and of punches and whatever, and then everyone had passed at some point. The deluge had ended,
Right.
and then I couldn't eat for a week. But basically,
Oh my God.
at the end of that, some lady was like, "Why did you disturb those people?" I was like, "What?" I was so confused. I was like, "What's happening?"
Right.
Exactly. So I was the victim of mob justice technically because the culture around it was allowed. If you allow a culture of mob justice, anything can happen to you under the premise
if you
of mob
allow a
justice.
culture of mind your own fucking business, I think that's the most the worst thing a citizenry can have in a country is apathy. Because, like,
they
someone
call
could be
the-
killed right next to you or be dying because they got hit by a car or something, and you're just gonna walk around them, look at them, shake your head, maybe even take a few videos for the gram, and then go about your day.
I don't know if it's called the spectator effect or observer. I'm not so sure, but
It's the spectator effect. I think I know what you're talking about. It's like when you're in a crowd and the more people there are doing nothing, the harder it is for whoever else comes to do anything. right?
exactly. But then even with that, it's just that the culture allows or supports mob justice because people saw it. I mean, they might have intervened if they knew I was being robbed or anything like that. But it
Right.
seemed like I was the one who instigated the violence.
Right,
So
right.
just on those reasons alone, it's probably anecdotal. But then I would never support it because it's like what it is guilty until proven innocent, and you never
Right.
know what the situation. There's been so many cases of mistaken identity.
Lynchings where like the person wasn't supposed to be lynched.
Probably just came from
So
church.
here's like a fun fact. For everyone on the live, did you know that the actual term that people use around the rest of the world, I think mob justice is something that's so uniquely Kenyan, is that it's actually called a lynching.
Yeah, it's a.
And do you know why it's called a lynching?
Why is it?
Because the person who used to do it, it comes from like some landowner whose last name was Lynch in the U.S. who used to do this to African like Negro slaves.
Oh yeah, it used to be a thing with them. Back in
And
the
there's
day.
actually a place in the U.S. called Lynchburg that was named after him, and it has like a really dark history. 'Cause
I'd rather
that's where
go. I'd rather
lynchings
go to
began.
fucking. You know the place called fucking.
Fucking is in Germany, is it?
I don't know. I think it might
It's
be.
always some random European
Sometimes
town.
some place in the
So
UK
what's
or something.
Bernard saying? Sorry.
No, I just
Taone
apologize.
Bjorn Pigo because everyone tends to mind their own business because after maybe and Asemo maybe so the crowd is like okay with that. That's the thing, and that's what we're talking about. Like next time you find someone getting lynched, do not participate because you do not know the facts of the situation. It's a terrible way to deliver justice.
It's an obvious.
It's literally a witch hunt.
And it's very
fucking
theatrical,
witch
but then
trial.
imagine you go home and you find you just kicked your neighbor in the face. Because at the end of the day, when you're getting kicked a lot, your face gets
You're
disfigured.
so unrecognizable.
You're so unrecognizable. You might just kick your mom.
Like, sir.
Imagine kicking your mom in the face. You'll never see heaven.
Buffy faced guy, and you're like, I don't know. You could be Jean, you could be the president, you could be anyone right now.
If you want to perform mob justice,
I'm gonna make my small
mob
contribution.
justice on yourself. Whatever the hell that means.
What the hell does that mean? So here's a funny story. When I was younger, right around the same age you were when you were lynched, almost lynched, right?
This is a sad story. Like
I know
Johan,
a guy who was burned dead for riding a borrowed bike that happened to be stolen, and they realized it's too late.
Wait, a bike?
Exactly.
Wow.
Like, look at just how fucking complex that situation is, and you're like, yeah, this should have at least deserved
But,
like
again,
an investigator. to
Again, let's
look
go back.
into
Let's
it.
go back into the mindset of these people. Like you look at a bike, it's like, that's the one. You don't care whether that's the person. You don't recognize them, but you assume they're the thief. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of crazy. It's like those 4 guys that got lynched in Kitengela by some Maasais because they.
Oh
assumed
yeah,
they-
the dreadlocks guy, and one of them was a tattoo artist.
I knew the
really
guy
popular.
actually.
Oh,
I knew the guy
you
somewhat,
did?
somewhat remotely. We used to go to the same gym. His name, well, we just used to call him Ras. He had a bunch of tattoos, but he was a really nice guy.
Exactly, and then he gets lynched. Okay, here's the thing, right? So I'm gonna go back really quickly to it sounds like I was fucked or yesterday night I was high. What? Not lynched. It's not spelled like that, Bernard. It's lynched.
No,
with a
I think
Y.
what he's saying is, we're saying it so casually. I mean, it does happen. Sometimes you get lynched. Like my girlfriend lynched me last night. John
Wait,
Lynch.
that doesn't make sense unless
makes
it
no
was
sense.
like an OG.
Yeah, man.
The only way you can
That's
have a sexual
that's the mob
lynching
justice.
is it's an OG. Mob
But it has
justice
to be
is an OG of violence.
But it has to be. That's poetic.
Yeah, exactly. It's a violent orgy or an orgy
You
of
could
violence.
say an ugly child is also an orgy of violence, or the result of a violent orgy.
That is what's one of your greatest fears? You know, one of my greatest
Having
fears
ugly
is having
children?
an ugly child.
Well, just make sure you did. Oh, no, the thing is, there's the guy who sued his wife in Asia, I believe, because she had ugly children. And the guy was like, I'm not ugly, you're not ugly, so where did the ugly children come from? And he found out that the woman had plastic surgery. So he sued her for 200,000 pounds, I believe, or something.
Wow.
And he actually won the case. I don't
Oh
know how,
my
though.
God.
I guess it's something to do with fraud or whatever. But then what's the statute of limitations for something like that? When did you notice?
You should have
she was,
found out.
When did you notice she was ugly, or when did you notice your kids were ugly?
I'm gonna have to go drop an ugly child myself. If you could just like pause the recording on here. Hey
Wait,
guys,
what does
like,
that mean? You're gonna take a shit or what?
Yeah,
Like,
drop
really?
an ugly child.
Wow. They asked for a face reveal, and I was like, okay, maybe we could do a chest reveal first. I was telling him about the potential OnlyFans, and we could do a foot reveal.
Here's our feet.
Yeah.
Our fucking ugly feet, you know.
But let's get back to our horses because we are on borrowed time right now.
We are living on it's something only someone who's scared of his girlfriend would say.
Yeah. Now, vasectomies.
Right.
Apparently, people in Kakamega have vasectomies. Do they even know how to pronounce that? Vasectomy. Nataka kwenda vasectomy. Hiyo ni kama ile event tulienda ya Sauti Sol.
Umepatako
vasectomy.
So there's a Kakamega man. Say D Jabba. That's a Jabba joke. Say D Jabba. That's a Jabba joke. It's like thinking out loud. If blind people eat seafood, will they see? Will I would love to laugh at that.
But then he's also blind.
It's not even that. It's
I like the fact that you dignified that with an answer.
it's just one of those jokes where it's like she's like almost like a dad joke.
Marianne
crack
Barraza is
sometimes.
asking, where are the faces? The faces are on our head. The ones on our on top of our, I mean, above our necks.
I was actually for showing our faces, but Jean doesn't want us to. So next
Here's the
time.
thing: we have admitted to doing a lot of things on this podcast, and again, people collect evidence over time. It's not just like, oh, we're watching you live.
Building up a case.
Exactly. So
Bullshit.
the faces will come out when we're big enough
Okay,
to
so
when we're big enough to pay our way out.
Yeah, that's a good point. So like, okay, so this guy in Kakamega, right?
Kakamega means mega shit, by the way. I think we should revise our lesson right there.
No,
'cause-
but it also means big brother.
yeah, it's the big brother. Kakamega, mega kaka, mega shit.
It's actually my name. Is your name Kakamega?
It looks like he's taking a mega kaka.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, the Kakamega
Mega
man.
kaka.
Do you believe this story is true though?
No, so here's the thing, right? So he underwent vasectomy, and then his wife fell pregnant. So his family was a bit shocked and surprised by this, right?
But
So-
what's the obvious conclusion you come to as a man? I mean, I had a vasectomy. My wife didn't. If she got
Right.
pregnant, it means what? She banged my neighbor, banged my dad, whoever. Banged Raila
No,
Odinga.
but it's about the poetic and like the grander implications of this, because Amerix even picked it up, and he was like, "Don't castrate your manhood to please a woman. She's gonna look for a fertile and to fertilize it." And the whole argument around whether or not men should perform vasectomies has been quite a thing in recent times, right?
What would be a good reason to perform a vasectomy?
That's the question. So like the bigger debate here is that should men perform vasectomies, and this particular instance or whatever happened is contributing to that debate, because obviously people who are against vasectomies will be like, see, you can do it and she will still cheat and get pregnant by another man. Like, you just give away your manhood for that. You know?
Wait, but I thought the vasectomy was the part of like, oh, we can have a lot of raw sex and then I can come inside you.
But we
you can-
can't have
You
kids.
can come inside me. We come inside of each other.
Yeah, but you can't have kids, right?
So that would be mutual. Like that would be a mutual decision. But you're
No,
saying
yeah,
the drawbacks of that is they always change their minds afterwards.
The drawbacks are that you can't make such a huge sacrifice for a woman. And I'm not saying this is my argument. I'm saying this is the argument like guys like Amerix are given.
Hey, shout out to Bichachi.
Yeah, Bichachi is a mad, he's a mad fan of us. We really appreciate you, man. Right, so like I was trying to say, hey,
Yeah.
what are you saying?
No, you were tripping over a word or something like that. Yeah.
Over a what?
A word.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think I have like a latent stammering disorder or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do stammer.
That happens
and
sometimes.
stutter.
We need your what?
We need your tongue, guys.
Bernard, you need to pause after that statement.
Why are you gay?
I would suggest you delete that one.
Anyway, so like I was saying, right? So the grander argument here is, if you perform a vasectomy, because it's a huge sacrifice supposedly for a man to make, and a woman falls pregnant, then that's egg to your face. Like, you fucking idiot. Look at this is what you get for making a sacrifice for a woman. I'd love to know what the viewers think, on the live. By the way, I think I'm gonna like save this shit, and then Eli, when he's doing like the
edits and
edits,
whatever.
can put it in so people can also feel like they were a little bit of the conversation, a little part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your opinion? Do you think a man should perform a vasectomy?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, the female methods of contraception is the ones like the coil, is it the patch or whatever?
Right.
They're reversible. Whereas a vasectomy, I don't think it is. Right?
A vasectomy is reversible, but it gets harder and harder to reverse the longer you have it.
Does it get harder and harder the more like I don't know. I imagine like it would be okay. So what happens when you get a vasectomy? You can't ejaculate or what? So no more cum shots.
No, what they do is they actually, let me just like really quickly Google how is a vasectomy performed? How is a
Hey, look, we're getting some hot chicks.
Angie. Like literally,
clever.
that's how you spell a username.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some hot ladies following us, and I
So
appreciate that.
basically, in a conventional vasectomy, each tube, like your
Let me just do this. Apparently, you can do this. Hey, look, I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
The kids do that nowadays.
Yeah, Gen Z. Like literally, so the ends of the tubes that are coming from your testicles are like each tube is cut and a small section is removed, and then the tubes are closed either by tying them or sealing them using heat.
Shit.
And the cuts are stitched, usually using dissolvable stitches that go on their own within about a week. So this is like, so they basically cut up and fold your like whatever pipes are coming out of your testicles. That's how a vasectomy work, right? So like okay, okay.
I like
I
this
guess
comment here.
I
Like
guess that's
save some in the sperm bank for or your freezer. Like leave at least one bullet.
no. I actually can see where it's coming from. It's like I think this
You
is.
see where he's coming from? You see his dick? Never say you see where
I
another
see
man.
where you're coming
You should
from.
never
Is-
see where
is-
another man is coming from.
is like
Look
low-key.
away. Look
You're
away.
Like I see your dick.
If someone says I see where you're coming from, say that's gay. Like
Why are you gay?
Like why are you looking at my dick? You seeing where I'm coming from? But anyways,
I mean, you could come from your ass, too,
so
you know.
unfortunately, this is gonna be a super
Like
short.
no, let me just like let's just do a quick detour. You know you can come from your ass as a man. That's where your prostate gland is.
But that's not really coming. That's going.
No, I mean like if you're gay and you have butt sex, you can probably come from that.
I don't know. We had one person who was gay. Did he unfollow us? I remember you guys had an argument. By the way, guys, just to clear my name, because I'm the nice one here.
Really?
Just kidding. A lot of the arguments you've had in the comments have been with Ramsey.
Which arguments? I don't think we've had-
Discussions. We haven't had. I mean, we had that one guy who I would have loved to have on the show. Who was talking
Yeah, that was
about-
the only one, and apparently it was like about calling us like I don't know backward or insensitive or something, right?
We are backwards. We like to moonwalk, but then
Exactly. So anyway, like here's the thing. I was gonna say that the whole thing about like saving stuff in the sperm bank.
just waved to a bunch of niggas.
Oh
Wait,
my god, you're
consider-
so fascinated by the
Yeah,
thing. Like, what the
man.
hell?
I mean, it's our first live. We might as well do it right.
You were against this. See how much you're enjoying it now? Admit it. It was actually a
we're
good
about
idea.
to wrap it up, though.
Yeah, but let me just say this, right? So I was gonna say that this does add another layer to the whole discussion around vasectomies, which is that modes of female family planning or like female contraceptives are not permanent. Like women just take a bunch of pills and then they can stop. The only permanent like form of what's the word contraception
Condom,
that
condom.
women condom the contraception have is like when they hit their own menopause and then they can never give birth again. But a vasectomy is pretty final. So the question is, why should it be? Why should we encourage men to
I
literally
think-
put an end to their line?
I think that's a Western thing because they want like to. I mean, they don't care about having kids, and they're a bit more loyal. Do you believe Western people are more loyal? Well, probably a conversation for another day.
I think there's a perception that Western people are more loyal, but I don't know that divorce rates are any lower in the U.S., for example, than they are in Kenya.
Where do the developing sperms? Maybe they go to developing nations. Where do
Okay,
the
let's just like do a
developing
quick. That's so dumb. Let's just do a quick Google search. Can you still ejaculate after getting a vasectomy?
Or is that the end of your cum life? Your cum
this-
shots?
That you've
No
reached the end
more
of your
cum
coming
shots.
days after a vasectomy. Can you still ejaculate? It's considered permanent, so once it's done, you don't have to think about contraception. You'll still have erections and ejaculate, but your semen won't contain sperm. So like, you know, because like
just
I'm
shooting
guessing
blanks, basically.
semen comes from like a semen gland or something, so that's not affected. It's the sperms that are being held back. But then here's the question, and I think we still haven't answered this question. If the sperms are being held back, like what happens to them? I guess they just like stay in the balls and die.
I think it's
natural
something
deaths.
like a
and they're-
hormonal thing where they neutralize. They change your chemical composition to the point where whatever is being produced does not have the necessary chromosomes.
Right. Okay, so let me just ask another question in Google. So, can you have a sperm overload?
I mean, Elon Musk, according to Chris Rock.
Overload.
Chris Rock was like, "There's no one in the world who has less
to fuck
cum.
around.
No, who has less cum than Elon Musk. Elon Musk has negative cum.
When you have, why does he have negative cum? Because he's dumped it in so many women.
No, he's like in the negative balance, right? Like he has
'Cause he's cum
given
so
out
much.
he's taking out loans to cum.
Right. Okay. So, where does sperm go after a vasectomy? So while testicles won't swell up from a sperm overload, the other
Why are you saying
secretions which
our?
make up the semen recipe can build up. Right. Okay. So here's the thing: you don't stand a chance of like having a sperm overload if you have a vasectomy, right? But like all the other like bits that go into the cocktail of semen that you produce when you ejaculate, they
The
can build up. You
cocktail.
still need to fucking come.
Yeah.
But your sperms are okay. I think they're just gonna like live and die in Africa. Oh, in your
LA,
balls.
in LA.
And then like go away.
To live and die in your balls.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, we're gonna have to put this to a close because someone will get.
Don't you want to talk about the CIA conspiracies
I
thing?
don't want to because I know I'm gonna get killed. I'm gonna be
Oh
the
my
next one on
God.
the CIA
This
list.
is the most tense recording we've ever had. Just because, like, why did you have to make your date at 4:30?
Why did you come late, my good sir?
Still,
Touche.
like that's been us. That's our thing. We
Yeah.
go late to
I
each
know,
other's
I know.
places.
I know.
Each other's
But for
things.
this one, every day comes with sacrifice. I mean, some days come with sacrifice. So,
Yeah.
guys, you guys have been awesome, especially the
Okay, then let me
few of us.
just quickly mention it, right? So there've been like a bunch of like things about the CIA, like overwhelming evidence over the past 6 months, and conspiracy theories, we admit. So one is that the CIA killed JFK. The other one is that 9/11 hijackers with CIA assets. So the CIA may have been directly involved in that. The U.S. government blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's one of the facts. And then the CIA director met with Epstein. You guys know about Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the child molester, right? So they met with him 3 times after he was convicted of
Yo,
child
Bernard,
sex
you're gonna have to
crimes.
pause. You're saying it was a nice quickie. You keep saying that.
It was a
Bernard,
nice-
if you wanna come out of the closet, we can help
Yeah,
you.
you're scaring the shit out of us, man.
Well, you literally scared the shit out of Ramsey. You had to go and shit it out.
You almost scared the sperm out of Elon, and he doesn't have that much left.
Elon is on borrowed sperm.
He's in bird sperm.
Yeah, let's see.
No
each other
wonder that
next-
guy wants to leave Earth. It's like he's fucked enough Earth women. He wants to
Yeah.
go try some Martians.
wants to go and fuck the ground. If he doesn't find anyone, he'll put a hole in the ground
Right.
in Mars and then just
Right.
hump away.
Okay, so
Happy hump day, guys.
for the whoever's gonna be listening to this on YouTube when it comes out, it's been awesome having you. We're sorry this has been a very low key episode,
Yeah.
but next time Jean will schedule his dates better, and I'll keep my time better.
Yeah.
and we'll talk a lot longer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a nice little first experiment. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
For keeping
Oh,
us
yeah. And for the
company.
guys on the live, I hope you're gonna like look forward to episode 12. It's dropping today. Could you
Hey,
please,
man.
please, guys, like if you can, like just promote our episodes to other people so they can watch. We actually think ThinkShack is a pretty chill, nice podcast, and we'd love to see more viewers and more subscribers on YouTube. And we love you guys, so please help us out with that.
All right, cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Have a blessed.
Today
Whatever
we
the
do
fuck
talk.
you
By
said.
the way, on episode 12, we talk a lot about cults, and it is like an illuminating episode. So you guys will love it.
Someone is asking us for a live show. I mean, next week. We'll catch you next week,
Yeah.
bro.
I think you can pause this right now because people on the YouTube episode don't need to hear us talking to people on the live.
Oh yeah, sure. You're right. All right. Bye, guys, from the YouTube side. Like,
Cheers,
comment,
see you.
subscribe, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and do not go stripping people. Do not mob people sexually or violently. It's a shit thing to do. Let women dress however they want.
Charity begins at home. So if you want to do that, do it to your mom or your dad.
Because like that's a mad level of sexual starvation. Like
Anyway.
your only opportunity to touch some boobs is to strip some random woman at a bus stop. What the fuck?
I just
man?
go to Kakamega Street or Sabina Joy. Anyways, ciao, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one.